Welcome back to another anime video. Today we're going to be talking about Studio Trigger and how they hang on to the past. Now, most people know, but I'm going to say it anyway so everyone's on the same page here. Studio Trigger used to be, the people in Studio Trigger used to come from a different studio called Studio Gainax. And then a lot of them split off and formed Studio Trigger. Now, the stuff that they made in Gainax was a little known series called Gurren Lagann, a great show. And Studio Trigger uses, they don't copy Gurren Lagann, but they use the same formula they used to make Gurren Lagann over and over again, repeating throughout their shows. Now, most people are hesitant because all the shows are so different, but I'm going to give you what my theory, what I believe is their formula, and you can make your own decision on whether it's right or wrong. So, first thing that Studio Trigger does when making a new show is they think about one thematic tie-in for the entire show, one thing that the entire show revolves around. So I have some notes up here. So in Gurren Lagann, what they did was they had the whole concept of spirals. They had spiral energy. Everything revolved around spiral. Life itself was on a spiral. Drills are a spiral. And everything went around this notion of spirals. The main antagonist was the anti-spiral. The antagonist before the main antagonist was the spiral king. Like, all spirals. And then we move into Kill La Kill. The theme in Kill La Kill is clothing, obviously. Then we dive into all of these are in order on when they were released. Then we dive into Kisniver. Some shows are not on here either because they're not an original Trigger work, or I haven't seen them to make up for it. But 90% of what Trigger has is going to be talked about. So Kisniver is about emotions, connecting with others, and the whole thing is connection. Everything's about connection. Little Witch Academia. The theme is obviously witches, magic. That's the main theme. Darling in the Franxx, the theme as well. A little unsafe for YouTube, but it's a three-letter word. Starts with S, ends with X. You do the math, and it's not socks spelled with an X. SSS Gridman. The theme is all about the thematic theme in the show is all about classic television. So the main character is SS Gridman, and they use the classic Power Rangers like combination sequences. They talk about kaiju, just classic TV and movies. Promare theme, obviously, fire. Nothing more to say about that one. And BNA theme, animals. Okay. The first thing is all the shows, they always pick one overarching theme for their entire show. Then they have a deeper theme, a theme that tries to talk to just the audience, the person watching. And then obviously the characters themselves all go through a separate, like, more emotional journey. It's very little that they're actually related together. So the deeper theme in Gurren Lagann is being a man. Kamina is basically the portrayal of this ideal man, someone you want to strive to become. And Simone goes on to this journey to become like his bro, to believe in himself, to be a man that people can count on and rely on. Then we have Kill La Kill, with its themes of consumerism and what clothing says about your appearance and that stuff. Then you have Kisniver again which again, its theme is very similar to its main theme of different emotions. It's connecting with others. That's its whole big thing. Little Witch Academia is the traditional versus the new. Countless times in the show, it always talks about the difference in between uh, what's old and what's new, whether the old is bad or whether the new is bad, and it kind of tells you like reject both sides. Like nothing, the old's not bad, the new's not bad. They're different. Then we have Darling and the Franks, which theme is Mecha. What? What am I saying? Sorry, I'm just a tad tired. Yeah, it's its theme is learning to rely on a partner. So in the beginning of the show, talking about the deeper things. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired today, but its theme is learning to rely on a partner. So in the beginning, Zero Two was in her own mech, piloting it all by herself, and only when she started relying on a partner could they accomplish such amazing feats. SS Gridman is about not learning not to run from reality. So, spoilers for the show, but this person, who is currently right there, is the not the main character, but the main antagonist. And it turns out this entire world is of her making. It's basically a dreamscape. And she's just a normal person in our reality living her life, and she's trying to run away from that life in order to escape into this fantasy world. And she learns that, hey, life exists out there for me. Pro Mare has the theme of pretty much everybody has a story. So you have our two protagonists. You have Gallo and Leo, and these two protagonists both view each other as the enemy. And then they learn that they're both doing things for different reasons, and they both have a just reason for doing what they're doing. One thinks the other one's a terrorist. One thinks the other one's trying to oppress their people, and they learn that they actually there's a bigger thing at play here. They should work together in order to achieve both their goals because the enemy is sometimes directly under your nose. BNA's deeper things is the acceptance of others and discrimination. So in BNA, there's a whole race of animal people, and most people don't like them, and that's yeah, it's one of the more obvious ones on this list. But yeah, and it's one of the few where the main character and the story's message actually come together perfectly. Number three, the ending must have an over the top battle and emotional high points throughout the show. By emotional high, I just mean anywhere where, like, while you're watching, your emotions start to boil up. So Gurren Lagann, the very very ending was hype. They were literally hurling galaxies at each other. Um, the death of spoilers. The death of Kamina when he died. That was a very emotional high point for I believe everyone watching. If it wasn't, you're a monster. Um, Kill la Kill had plenty of emotional high points. So good. Um, as well as like it ended in a battle in space. So yeah, checks those two tick marks. Kisniver, I didn't finish it. I made it about 2/3 through the series, so I'm not sure how it ends, but it definitely had some emotional high points. Little Witch Academia ended up with I wouldn't call it a huge battle, but it was them all working together to like stop a missile. So I would definitely call that a huge end battle. It might not have been against an opponent, but it was against a missile, and I feel like a missile makes a pretty good opponent. And it had plenty of highs and lows throughout the series as well. Darling and the Franks, a lot of highs and lows, and of course, yeah, ended in a huge battle. SSS Gridman literally burst through the sky and had a battle in the space in between spaces. Huge battle. Um, Crazy battle. And yeah, emotional highs and lows throughout the series as well. Promare, of course. This might have been a movie, the only Studio Trigger movie on this list. But yeah, emotional highs and lows throughout the movie. And of course, ended with a huge battle. Sorry about that. Promare fits the formula. BNA, again, emotional highs and lows drastically throughout the entire series, almost more than all the rest, because of the themes that it dealt with, as well as a huge hype end battle with literal like godlike wolves shooting lasers at each other. So yeah, kind of wacky. Next thing that we are talking about for number 4, final one on this list, is every show Studio Trigger makes must have an epic animation and OST and opening. And I feel like this is true for every single one of these shows. Gurren Lagann, well, Sonoro Days, hope I'm pronouncing that right, is an amazing song that people love and adore to this day, as well as its amazing OST and its amazing animation. Beautiful. Again, Kill La Kill, great openings, amazing OST, fantastic animation. The animation is a bit different than Gurren Lagann in Kill La Kill. They experimented with seeing if they can use less. They went with less or more tactic for comedy, which worked amazingly well. Kisniver, beautiful opening. Oh my god. The colors and the themes in the show make it look gorgeous, as well as its amazing soundtrack. Little Witch Academia, mm, opening was, it was good. OST was pretty darn good. Animation held up. It wasn't the best, but hey, you could tell it's Studio Trigger. Darling the Franks. Oh, amazing OST, amazing animation, amazing soundtrack, amazing opening. Very nice. SSS Gridman. The opening was amazing. The soundtrack overall was good, and the animation held up. Promare had, because it was a movie, had some of the best animation, best OST of almost any Studio Trigger show, because they could put that budget into that shorter time. However, I do feel like it would have benefited from being a 12 episode anime. It felt a bit rushed and forced at times. BNA, a great opening, loved it, still on my playlist. Amazing animation, and of course, a great OST. Yeah, those are 4 things on making a Studio Trigger show. Number 1, choose a theme for the overall show and style. So Gurren Lagann had Spiles, Kill La Kill Clothes, Kisniver Emotions, Little Witch Academia Witches, Darling and Franks had SSS Gridman had Classic TV, Promare had Fire, BNA had Animals, and then number 2, a deeper theme, underlying message. Uh, Gurren Lagann had Being a Man and What It Takes. Kill La Kill had Consumerism. Kisniver had Connecting with Others. Little Witch Academia had Traditional versus New. Darling and Franks had Learning to Rely on a Partner. SS's Gridman had Don't Run from Reality. Promare told everyone that everyone had a story. BNA had the acceptance of others' differences and discriminations. All of their endings, number three, all the endings have to have an over the top battle and an emotional high points throughout the story, which they all do, and epic animation and OST. Now, just because Studio Trigger follows the same formula for all their shows does not mean all their shows are made equally. Some of the concepts are stronger than others, some of the animation is better than others, but they all follow the same base Studio Trigger formula. You can show two Studio Trigger shows to someone, and they will be able to ask you, is this made by the same person? Yeah. So, Studio Trigger has been chasing that glory that Gurren Lagann gave them by repeating the same formula over and over again. Do I personally think this is a bad thing? No, I definitely don't think this is a bad thing. If something works, don't fix it. Um, they should try to pull away from the formula a little bit more at times. It's starting to get a little bit gimmicky, even though I did love BNA and Promare. And in 2021, they are making another continuation of the SSS Gridman series. And in 2022, they're making an animation for Netflix. Not sure if it's going to be, sorry, it's definitely going to be a show. It's going to be 10 episodes, and it's a cyberpunk show called Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So something tells me they're going to put their own formula into Cyberpunk as well. Even if it's not an quote unquote original work like they typically do, they're still going to put the Studio Trigger style in it. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's directed by the same people that did Gurren Lagann, literally the same director. So it should be a fun time. Sorry, same director that did Kill la Kill. I misread. Yeah, so it should be a good time. I'm not sure how they're going to do this or what they're going to do, but one way or another, Studio Trigger might not make the best shows, but all their shows are incredibly fun and entertaining. So whatever it is, it's definitely going to be a blast. All right, that's all for me. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you disliked it, slam the dislike button. I don't need no simps. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. And that's all for today. I hope everyone had a great time. I hope we learned something today. And if you agree or disagree, leave that in the comments below. I'll see y'all next time.